Subuta is being examined for a broken jaw after a heavy crash saw her stretchered from the venue. The latest incident follows ongoing criticism of the course on a day which saw Australia's Anna Siegel fall just short of a podium finish.
Slopestyle and Danger have headlined these Winter Games.
Oh, big knuckle there.
Canada's Yuki Subuta, the latest casualty, whisked to hospital after a heavy fall.
Medical crew on the scene very quickly.
Earlier, Victoria's Anna Siegel, who said her knee was hanging by a thread, was in medal contention after a stunning 77-point run.
7:20 Mugrat. Well, that is a very, very strong effort.
Australia's first medal in Russia slipping away, Siegel bumped from bronze.
I never knew how hard the Olympics were. They're bloody draining, and I'm so happy to be through the other side, and I'm stoked with fourth.
Sporting stitches from a Sochi spill, Dara Howell dedicated her gold to countrywoman and free ski trailblazer Sarah Burke, who died after a training accident last month. Lee Sung-hwa skated to South Korea's first medal in Sochi.
A gold medal skate by a mile.
A Norway defeat in cross-country? No way. Ola Hartstadt and Micah Fowler both sprinting to gold.
Fowler wins it. Photo for second.
Soaring further than a football pitch, Germany's Karina Votek claimed the first ever women's hill jump, while countrywoman Natalie Geisenberger lunged to victory at nearly 130 kilometres an hour.
Can you believe it?
Few would have fathomed Shaun White wouldn't top the half-pipe. The two-time Olympic champion didn't even medal, upstaged by Russian-born Swiss boarder Yuri Podlachikov.
Oh my God, iPod throwing it down.
Daria Domracheva had her sights set on her country's first female Winter Olympic gold. The Belarusian delivered.
And a mighty performance.
Nick Vinden, World News Australia.
So, taking a look at the medal startings after day 4, and Norway is again on top, closely followed by Canada and the Netherlands. Meanwhile, India has welcomed an International Olympic Committee decision which allows the country's athletes to compete under their own flag. The IOC recently reinstated the Indian Olympic body after it held a weekend ballot barring corruption-tainted officials.
For a nation of close to 1.3 billion people to see their athletes march under the Olympic flag and not their own was a hard pill to swallow for Indians both here and around the world.
I think it was a national shame. It's terribly embarrassing. But I'm delighted that the Olympic Committee decided that during the course of the Games themselves, which itself is a historic first-time decision, to reinstate India.
The EB decision means they can now compete for the National Olympic Committee of India and will walk behind their flag at the closing ceremony on the 23rd of February.
World squash chief Narayana Ramachandran was installed as president of the new Indian Olympic Committee, and a flag-raising ceremony was held at the Olympic Village to mark the shift away from corruption-tainted officials.
For me, it's a very good. IOC can back us, NOC. It's really nice for me.
I'm so happy to get our identity back now. So today they changed and our accreditation card and give us the new status, India NOC. So I'm so happy.
The end of India's ban comes after a 14-month exile from the Olympic family. John Baldock, World News Australia.
To cricket, and Alex Doolan has been handed a baggy green ahead of the first test against South Africa starting tonight. Doolan replaces the injured Shane Watson. Sean Marsh returns to the international stage, comes in for the dumped George Bailey. South Africa has won the toss and sent Australia into bat at Centurion. To football, and Chelsea has missed a chance to move 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League ladder after being held by West Brom. Elsewhere, West Ham and Southampton were both successful, while Aston Villa and Chelsea had to settle for a draw. Serbian defender Branislav Ivanovic put Jose Mourinho's side on course in first half injury time. But with 3 minutes remaining, Victor Anichebe headed in for the equaliser. Second place Arsenal will return to the top if they win at home to Manchester United tomorrow. 2022 World Cup host Qatar has revealed a set of guidelines aimed at protecting the rights of thousands of expatriate workers employed on construction projects. Amnesty International has previously urged FIFA to press Qatar to improve the conditions of foreign labourers. Workers have reportedly suffered a series of abuses, including non-payment of wages and poor standards of accommodation. And closer to home, it's believed Spanish legend Fernando Hierro wants to coach in the A-League. The former Real Madrid defender, who played 89 times for Spain, has asked his representatives in Australia to find him a club. Super Rugby competition begins in South Africa this weekend. However, there's a sobering thought for the 5 Australian teams. All except Queensland are struggling financially.
Huge expectations at the start of the season, but all that glitters is not gold. And 4 of the 5 Australian Super Rugby teams are just about broke.
Well, just Super Rugby will operate at a loss, but overall rugby, you know, the different brands that we have in the game all contribute to the financial result of the game. And look, the game will be in fine shape. We've just got a few things around the fringes that we need to work on.
The ARU last month imposed a $200 levy on every team, senior, junior and women's throughout the country, to raise quick cash. The Melbourne franchise has reportedly lost in excess of $15 million in 3 years.
Once you start winning, you know, the people really start coming out to the game. So, but look, there's a lot of loyal supporters down there in Melbourne, and they love their sport. So, you know, I think they'll definitely be out, and we'll have more members this year.
One of the country's highest paid stars has done wonders in terms of publicity.
Israel Folau was a huge success in his first year of rugby and is already one of Australia's most popular players. But here's a scary thought for the opposition. He's confident he'll be much better in 2014.
There's always room for improvement, and yeah, that's probably the most exciting thing.
He can be a little bit more of a playmaker, and I guess if he adds that string to his bow, you know, the world's his oyster.
All 5 teams want to play an attacking brand of rugby. They'll need to get fans through the gates. Vince Hammerley, World News Australia.
To cycling, and Orica Green Edge's Michael Hepburn has powered to victory in the Tour of Qatar time trial. The Australian double world pursuit champion won the 10-kilometre third stage by 1 second ahead of Dutch rider Lars Boom. Netherlands rider Nicky Terpstra holds a 21-second advantage over Lotto Belissol's Jurgen Rolnats going into the final 2 days racing. And finally, in sport, tomorrow night we speak to Mariners star Bernie Ibini. It's been a difficult few months for the Nigerian-born striker after a difficult loan spell in the Chinese Super League and the recent death of his father. But the 21-year-old says he's finally beginning to get his life and career back on track.
My family is doing pretty well, and I'm doing pretty well handling that now, so just moving forward, and hopefully he was proud of me when I scored that goal, so yeah, it was good to score on the weekend as well.
Bernie's battle against adversity tomorrow night on World News Australia. Great to have a player of his talents back in Australia.
Yeah, looks intriguing. Can't wait for it.